Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. As if I haven't got enough to do with this head gasket on the Mini, yesterday I noticed I had a water leak on the Discovery 2. So I got underneath, had a look, and one of the hoses I fitted only 2 years ago is delaminated on the bottom. It's the one from the header tank which splits down into the oil cooler, the fuel cooler. There's a fuel cooler and down to the rad. Anyway, yeah, it's delaminated just there, but I put another clamp on it. It seems to be alright. But while I was under there, I noticed I was dripping on the other side, and it looked like the radiator was leaking right from the corner. Whether I'd done that when I was off-roading the other week or not, I don't know. But anyway, I have another radiator, but it's up there, which I can't get to it because that's in the way. Anyway, I'm going to start taking it apart because I've got to take all the headlight grills off and the grill off and some protection underneath to get to it. So let's go and have a look. So there's the leak. The other one was over there, which seems to be dry now. So I've taken the air filter off just to try and get a better look. But down in there, you can see that. So that's between the rad and the intercooler. It's a tad wet, and you can see. You can see it's wet down there as well, and there you go, it's dripping off there. So first we need to remove all of this. God. Right, let's come and undo these screws for the radiator housing, casing. Right, I'm just going to release the two lower radiator pipes. So that big one there, the one below that is a blank because this is a Euro 3 engine, and then the one below that comes from the fuel cooler. So we're just going to undo the clamps there, and it's a lot easier if you have the correct tool. So let's see if I can get the camera in there so I can show you. Not a lot of room in there. That was a lot harder than it should have been because the pipe's so small. I had to undo both sides and just give it a good yank, but it's off. Next to the top radiator hose, and also this. Normally it's normally here you have a very what's the word? Normally here you have a very rigid plastic pipe which is susceptible to snapping, so I've replaced mine with a nice silicone hose. So all I've got to do is pull that off. That's just the overflow back to the header tank under this top hose, and that's all the hose is disconnected then. here. Next, there's a 10mm bolt either side which holds the intercooler to the radiator. You need to remove those. First one. Second one's in there, look. I'm sure you can fit a... Right, just about get a socket in there. Two. Next you need to remove the horns. There's a 13mm nut in there, on either side. There you go, it's out. So once you remove the horns, you then have to remove this piece of foam here because there's a bolt behind it. Right, there's two lugs in there that the intercooler sits on top of the radiator. So you have to lift the intercooler up. So you're probably best to undo the two intercooler pipes on either side. There's two bolts in there. They need to come out. To them, it's behind this cover that you have to pull out here and here. I need a trim tool. So once you remove the rubber, you can see the two bolts in there, 10mm. The two bolts on the left hand side are 10mm again, and there's one on top of the other. And because I've got this and this in the way, it makes it very difficult, but it should be easy for you straight up there with a long extension. Move bracket. So once you take that last bracket out, you can then lift the intercooler out, which you see I've done here, and then the gearbox intercooler, if yours is an automatic, is held in by a screw here. Just need to undo that little screw, and then it just clips in on the right hand side. Then you can let this be loose and you can lift the rad out. And that's just a normal Phillips screw. And you can pull this out and unclip it from here. Just like that. And then the rad. And there's a rad, and it's leaking in this corner here. You can see how wet it is. And down to the bin. Right, we're back on the radiator for the Disco 2. It's been a couple of weeks. I wasn't happy with the radiator, the spare one I had up in the roof here, because of a wet patch here. So I've had to order a new one. Here it is. Now if you're wondering why I have blanked off this here, it's because mine's a what is it? It's mine's a 15p engine, and I've removed the EGR cooler, and obviously there's water. There's a pipe from here up to the EGR cooler, so I removed all that ages ago. So I had to blank this off, which I did on my last one. Didn't cause any issues. So this is weird. It's got a texture, but anyway. So we're going to install this today. I've also installed a couple of new pipes, which I'll show you now. So I finally replaced the heater matrix hoses, 4 miles by silicone ones, so they're a bit of a arse to fit because there wasn't a lot of room down here by the fuel cooler. But anyway, they're installed. I've also installed a new pipe. This one here, I don't know if you can see that. This is from the header tank to the fuel cooler and then down to the bottom of the rad on a metal pipe. That was a bit leaking as well. Again, I fit that 2 years ago, but it's shit. So hopefully this one will last a bit longer. Don't forget to take the rubber feet off the old radiator, put them on a new one, because they may not come with it. Right, first thing you need to do, gearbox oil cooler pipes above that bracket on the radiator, and then you can slide that clip in there. Okay, and the same other side. Pipes there. And then you can just hit that bracket there, just bolts to that bracket there. So get that in right first. So locate the rubber feet in the holes in the chassis, and you can still bend the radiator forward to get the intercooler in. So those two lugs on the radiator is what the intercooler just sits into. So you just have to line it up both sides and they just literally plonk in. Let me show you on the old radiator. The intercooler pipe sits here and the little foot sits in there. Same this side. Now this clamp holds the intercooler and the radiator to the bodywork. Kind of sits like that. This is the right hand side. Okay, so just literally plonk it. Right, so there you plonk it on the intercooler spigot. So I'm not sure you can see, but that bracket actually goes behind the aircon rad. And then obviously the bolts come from the front into that. So you'll see it kind of swings around. And there's another bolt there to hold the intercooler and the rad together. So once you've fitted the two 10mm bolts, one either side, one here, and one here, it's time to fit the two water pipes. So this one here goes onto the bottom pipe there, and then you've got this elbow which goes to the bottom of the rad and the thermostat. If you've still got the original clamps, I'd recommend getting a set of these tools. You see, these will lock the spring clip, which I'll try and show you now. Clamp it. Lock it like that. Not got a very good clamp on that minute. Put the pipe on. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare to get on, isn't it? There you go. That one's on. I just need this big one on. But I'm going to soak that in hot water first because That side's alright. That side's probably a bit tight, so look. That might be alright. Let's have a go. Which one's to go? Which one to go first? This one's going to be this one. Spin it round. This is the hard bit. Need 2 hands. Oh, 2 hands. Oh God. Then you can go. Spin it round. And we're on. One done. Right, that's all the pipes on. Reinstall that, and then the 2 behind there as well. And just do the same on the other side. Next you want to put the clips back in this rubber cover and fit the horns back in. Horns back in, don't forget to plug in the connector on both sides, and you'll put everything in there if you haven't broken them. Next it's probably a good idea to fit the intercooler hose while you've got the room. Right, next you want to fit the long intercooler pipe. Probably best to slide this under here, like that. He says. Nope. There you go. I seem to have misplaced my clamp, so hopefully this one will fit. Anyway, you know how to put intercooler hoses on. Just do the clamps up. Simple. Right, so that's all the boost hoses on. So you've got one there, a long pipe underneath, and one going into the turbo, but also halfway down there's a small pipe which comes from the boost control valve, so don't forget that. So next we need to fit this radiator hose. Like that. Get out of the way. I can't do it one-handed. So that, the overflow pipe, which is over there, airbox lid, I've got a new air filter to go in, connect this to the MAF, and then fill it with water, give it a run up and bleed it. I think that is almost it, apart from the fan, which I'll do after I'm sure there's no leaks. Right, Derek's all back together, all the hoses are on, new air filter, that's the old one, out, antifreeze. Right, so I'm just going to run it up, check for no leaks, and then I'll bleed it. So how I bleed it is, the header tank you get as high as possible, open the bleed valve here, sure I can, oh there you go, until the water comes out, just get all the air out. Make sure the heater's turned on full, and you might have to do that several times. Don't forget to fit the fan and the shroud. As you can see, it's all back together.